I was considering using this podcast to talk about the situation of the economy in the UK, about inflation,
Mm.
the rise in energy prices, the immigrant situation. But then I thought, well, over the past few months, we've already talked about these things till
Mm.
exhaustion,
Yeah.
right? It seems that the mainstream media is not reporting on anything else at the moment, so it will be just repeating what has already been said and what the general news is hammering on about.
Yes. Yeah.
Then I thought I'd bring up France and how it's on the brink with raging debt and problems for
Yeah.
Macron, as calls for his resignation are now more than just whispers in the corridors. But the people who have watched our previous podcast will know that we've talked about these things till exhaustion. So it will just be a case of repetition.
Mm.
It's the same thing. You
Yeah.
know, we've been on about these things and, we would look like a pair of grumpy old men with nothing better to talk about except for what is unfolding before our eyes. So
Yeah.
I decided not to bring that subject either. I
All
didn't
right.
want to talk about that one either.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about a place I had a great deal of respect for, a place where I used to live,
Mm.
uh, not for all that long, around 18 months, all told. Uh, Around 6 months in Rue Prénaville in Geneva,
Mm.
and around a year in Rienstrasse in Basel.
Okay.
That, of course, is in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Um, I have my Swiss bank account.
Mm.
There you are. But not to worry. In Switzerland, it's called a bank account,
Yeah.
and everybody has one.
Yes.
So, um, my very first time in Switzerland, I landed in Geneva at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I went to the centre of the city or the
Yeah.
town. And my first impression I got was how clean the place was. It was really, really clean. It was spick and span, and and very twee.
Yeah.
Well, the buildings I thought were very twee.
Mm.
Um, I thought old, elaborate buildings, but very well maintained. Is
Yeah.
what the impression I got. The people were very polite and extremely honest.
Mm.
Right.
Yeah.
The coins were worth a lot in relation to French francs at that time. Right. And so handing over just one coin for a cup of coffee in a cafe,
Mm.
it to me it was funny. It was like we were playing with
Yeah.
fake money,
Yeah.
like we're playing at shops, if you
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
you know, like we used to do when we were kids. But of course I got used to it. Fast forward a year and I'd moved to Basel,
Mm.
right? And I returned to Geneva after about a year, and in the morning the streets were strewn with old newspapers and graffiti was more evident. Right? This, of course, was brought in by outside influence. Right? There was a heavy influx of Eastern Europeans from Yugoslavia, as it was back then, and some from African nations, some from South America, mainly Peru and Bolivia, and of course me.
Oh. Okay.
Right? I'm a foreigner.
Yeah. Yeah.
The native people were getting a little more impatient because of this influx, especially in the north of Switzerland, like Basel, where I lived. Then, of course, I came to Brazil. Right? I left Switzerland and came to Brazil. So yesterday, I saw a report of a riot in the town of Lausanne, which is quite near to Geneva,
Yeah.
because an immigrant crashed his scooter and died, racing at high speeds in a 20-kilometer-an-hour area. Apparently, the scooter was stolen and he was being followed by the police.
Yes.
And the report I saw was, flames everywhere and
Yeah.
just a general riot. And the first thing I thought about was Nanterre in Paris. In Paris, because it's Nanterre in Paris has become almost a no-go area for the police because of riot and immigrant youths.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think France can be safe from this type of problem anymore, not without the use of the armed forces. A little bit like what Trump is doing in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. Yeah.
On further investigation, I found out that around 1 in 4 people living in Switzerland are not Swiss. It seems that the authorities have lost control and the indigenous population just don't know what to do.
Mm.
I just hope that Switzerland does not lose its identity. I had a few friends in Switzerland, but lost contact with them, of course, as one does traveling around.
Yeah.
And it seems a shame because Switzerland, at least for me, was a little piece of paradise. Mountains, lakes, quality of life where I could relax, sat on a terrace, partaking of a verre de
Mm.
bière, watching the world go by. And to lose that would be an absolute shame.
Right.
So
Right.
basically, it's a country that's steeped in tradition
Mm.
that nowadays 25% of the people that live there are from the outside.
Mm.
And I'm just frightened it's going to lose all its charm.
Right. Okay. I'm always interested to hear your tales from your grand tour, which you've done in your life. Um, yeah, now I've got relatives in Switzerland who live in Switzerland. Yeah, or in a don't really have a big in-depth conversation about them, about their issues there. Yeah. Um, Partly because I find the Swiss are very closed about talking about things sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds odd, but that's my impression. Maybe they just don't want to talk to me. I don't know. I'm not going to investigate that one. Um, but it's a European wide thing at the moment. Okay. Um, it's not so much immigration, and I'll keep coming back to this. You and I cannot be opposed to immigration because of the way where we come to. Yeah. And to become and live in this country, if we want uncontrolled, you're a bit different from me. I think you managed to come and live here. Yeah, I got married. I had to do it the other way. I got married to a Brazilian person. Circumstances brought me to Brazil. And before I came here, I had to pay my money to the Brazilian government. I had to pay the British authorities so much money to get a criminal record from the UK to prove I was not a yeah, I had not transgressed any major laws or anything else. That I was of a reasonable character before I could even jump on a plane and do anything to do apply for a visa. Yeah, and I had to hand this all over. Yeah, so I had to give over money, this document, a few other things to say, yeah, what I am, marriage certificate to my wife, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, basically, I had to go through quite a few hoops to move from a safe country to come to a well, we'll say safe country. Yeah, yeah.
A
Okay.
country not at war.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Come on. The UK's always been on a war footing, always somewhere. At the time we were on a war footing with somebody. Yeah. Um.
I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
You're a little bit apprehensive to say a safe country, Brazil, and that's why I use the phrase "a country not at war."
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, okay. I had visited a couple of times. Yeah, I wouldn't have even, managed to come in without applying for visas or anything. Just showed up at the airport, got a stamp in the visa, and walked through. Now I can walk through. I've got indefinite leave to remain, which the government monitor. Yeah. Um. So I've done my time as it was. They've realised I'm a good person. Yeah. I must be because I'll say hello to the policemen on the streets whenever I walk past them. So if I was a wanted person, they'd have every opportunity to, yeah. But it's as a um, but yeah. That's it. It's controlled immigration. It's an example of controlled immigration. Yeah. Um, if and I do believe that every country has a right to control who comes across its borders. Yeah. Um, okay, it'd be very, very foolish of me to claim. Well, at the time when the UK was some years back, to claim in 2014 to claim that the UK that I was at risk in the UK and claim asylum in another country would look quite stupid. Now even the US are talking about allowing people from the UK to claim asylum. Um, but yeah, joking aside, yeah, that's the things I had to do. Now, when you're seeing people coming across the channel or going into Europe, okay, we talked about Europe, so going across the border, the Swiss are quite reasonable people. Oh, these poor people, they may be asylum seekers, they may be this, they may be that. How do you know? Well, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt almost. Well, it's when you start lowering your standards, yeah, lowering your
Right.
examination things, as it were, that you're going to have problems. Yeah.
The economy in Switzerland, apart from one or two industries,
Mm,
is made up of the service industry.
yeah.
And the people that are going to Switzerland,
Mm,
a lot of Portuguese have gone to do shop work and stuff like that,
yeah.
and that's mainly because Switzerland you get the highest wage in the
Mm,
world for the job that you do.
yeah.
There are many people like in Annemasse, which is on the other side of the frontier
Mm,
between Switzerland and France, that live in Annemasse,
mm,
Go to Geneva to work, get
yeah.
the Swiss salaries, take it back to Annemasse in France.
Mm,
The same with Basel. I
yeah.
think it's Freiburg
Yeah.
where they have the on the other side of the border,
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
where they come in and they do the work and then they go back home.
Mm,
But
yeah.
I'm talking about the problem that Switzerland has got um, in their avarice for paying lower wages
Mm,
for these service people to do these service industry jobs
mhm,
is that the price of housing has gone through the roof
mm,
because 25% of the population are not Swiss
mm,
and they're occupying uh, housing,
yeah.
and so the poor Swiss, because not everybody in Switzerland is a rich person.
No.
Right?
No.
It's just like anywhere.
Yeah.
You have your Swiss people that do menial jobs,
Mm,
just as you do in the UK,
yes.
and only the cost of living in Switzerland is very high
Mm,
in relation to the rest of Europe, and so the normal Swiss people are finding it really hard,
yeah.
which is where the frustration comes.
Yeah. I mean, when you talk about housing market in Swiss, from what I understand or seen, the relatives have got there that everyone rents, or majority of the population rent.
Yeah, they can't afford to buy.
Yeah. But that's not new, obviously. That's been around
No, no, it's been on for a long, long time.
yeah. I mean,
When I
yeah,
was there,
yeah, yeah. I mean, part of it is a good way of doing things, I suppose, and a part of it has its drawbacks. But yeah, I'm not going to criticise the Swiss how they've operated for years. Um, yeah, but the trouble is you have a sudden influx of people that have different values from your own, yeah, and then you allow them to operate their alternative values without any checks, without any um, restraint from the authorities,
yeah,
and you're asking for problems.
of course,
Um, and it's one thing to be humanitarian and everything else, but these people have to show you respect as well. Yeah. And yeah, I know we could talk about economics and all that. We have to look after ourselves economically. We have to look after ourselves in Brazil. Nobody gives us any handouts or anything, any accommodation or anything. Yeah. I'm dependent upon my wife to do things or sort things out. I'm entitled to work and I do. Yeah. I do work some long hours. I'm sorry. I was working from 7 o'clock this morning, for example. Yeah. Um, and I'll be finishing, yeah, 9 o'clock tonight. So yeah, okay, it's not continuous, but it's a long day. Um, it's and but I respect, and you should respect the people around you. Now, if this guy, I read this guy stole a scooter, yeah, and how dare the police chase him? Yeah, the police caused his death. Well, this young person, I think the minute they jumped on a stolen scooter and decided to race away, apparently they hit a a traffic calming um, um, road furnishing, and yeah, he found out he wasn't exactly evil Knievel at that point. Yeah,
Oh,
it's a tragic accident. No one wants to see anyone die, but he made a decision himself. The authorities decided to react to it, and he paid the price for it. Yeah, consequences. Yeah, actions lead to consequences. Yeah, and the same here. If I do something wrong and the police decide to take action, the result could be not very good for me.
yep, yep,
So yeah, but then the reaction of I mean, yeah, the term Antifa was used and everything else, masked people going around, setting fires to things, making barricades in the roads. I mean, yeah, I read it because obviously it's a story I did read or took a bit of interest in because I've got relatives in Switzerland. Um, and yeah, it was completely lawless. And also, I believe there was a local politician who got recognised who was um, who was scaffolded. Yeah, I don't believe he was beaten as bad as he was. He didn't look too bad a shape, but he was certainly scaffolded in the street because it's on footage. Yeah, um, he managed to get away, which is interesting. But yeah, um, so at that point, that's assault. Um, and I'm being quite honest. I mean, at the moment, obviously in the UK, we've got this thing about policemen. We still have a respect for the police. We might yell at them and be doing other things. We're certainly not looking in. Okay, you get the barges at the demonstrations. That's just a bit of sport. Both sides are kind of agree to that. Yeah, but we're not going around with death in our sights on for the police. There are people out there from other places who have this notion that that's how you're going to make it a point. It is getting frightening, and the European population are beginning to feel it. Yeah, whatever you might think about humanitarianism and everything else, um, the authorities have either got to get control of it and stop telling the local population to accept everything that's happening, or start having some very, very good explanations and not accusing them of being every ism under the sun. Yeah, or in their language or whatever. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it is a big problem. It's a big problem that's been coming about for 20 odd years, if not longer. And um, now, I believe there's been people in America have been saying this, that Europe has either sleepwalked into this situation or it's been done deliberately.